Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're listening to this, as this is on Spotify, Apple, and all major podcast platforms. I am Mr. Hoosier, and I'm always joined by my good buddy, the guy with the beard and the lovely sounding voice, Bucket. Bucket, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, that's right, man. I'm doing well. Just coming off the Super Bowl hangover, right? Like,
Oh my
just
God.
feeling the
I can't.
Monday. I woke up not ready for the day, but I put that like David Goggins face on and said, "Don't let that inner little bitch get to you," and
Dude,
went for it, man.
how? I don't get it. How does Shanahan blow another double-digit lead?
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
How?
You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes just like you couldn't bet against Tom Brady, even if you want to.
You really can't at this point. Like, it's heartbreaking because I really thought the 49ers were going to do it. And yeah, like their front line was amazing and it just kind of all fell apart. And Mahomes and Kelsey do what they do so well. And yeah, the Chiefs are now the Super Bowl champs again, first back-to-back champion since the Patriots in the 2000s. So, I hate to.
years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. We're old enough to remember that. That's
Stop.
you were like 16 when that happened,
I
right?
was I was like an adult.
You're old.
Yeah, that's right.
But did you get to watch any Rocket League this weekend?
I did watch a good bit. I watched our friends over at Young Whippersnappers, their stream. And then I watched some of the other ones that I could get a hold of, and I'm still catch up on VODs though. And I would love to be able to chase down more of them and see who's streaming when they can. Like they're kind of hard to find. We've talked about this before, but there are a few out there, and we might be talking to some of them today that have pretty good productions going on.
We do have some special guests today that do have pretty good productions, and they are top notch. But before we get to that, we get the Pulse Bop wrap up, week 2 of this, and he's got some good stuff in here this week. First up, Squishy and Justin didn't qualify for NA Regional. We saw Shopify Rebellion not make it, and the Muffin Men again not able to do it. They get close, but just not able to get across that last little hump. The first ever CRL team of Tristan, Bullseye, and Patty made RLCS. They are from Akron. So that's going to be exciting to see this coming weekend as we see some CRL players start to really make their way into RLCS. We haven't seen too much of that in the past. Then we got 100% beat Vitality in the Swiss. Oxygen missed the top 8. Gentle Mates eliminated Vitality from their first ever RLCS event with Zen. Carmine Corp, best of 7, reverse swept BDS to make the finals. And peaking at 413,000 viewers, KC defeated Gentle Mates in 6 to become EU's first 2024 champion. Did you see that? I saw a couple tweets talking about that, how EU viewership was just through the roof. Like it was
That's amazing.
Multiple channels were over like 10, like just 10K. It was top notch. It made NA viewership just look not good at all. it was kind of a bummer to see, but it's great
Especially
for the EU.
French, man. They're all about the esports.
Oh, the French. They just keep doing it. Like I don't understand. Maybe one of these coaches one of these days will be able to explain to us what it is in the water over there that makes them just so good. Because it's ridiculous to watch.
Discipline.
But
it's discipline.
I think that's what we have really come down to seeing is that it's discipline in your personal life and then also in your gameplay as well. And they all do that to the best of their abilities. But I did catch a little bit of that Carmine Corp and Gentle Mates finals matchup, and it was all of the matchups in the EU were ones to really watch. They were all very close. But yeah, Carmine Corp, they're just on another level right now with the addition of Rise. So it's kind of scary for NA. I honestly don't know if NA has a chance to take Worlds. There's going to have to be some adjustments that need to be made going forward. But maybe our guests that are on today, maybe they have the team to do it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get them on here. Ladies and gentlemen, from Deleted Esports, we have owner and co-owner Prime and Icy. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Doing good. You guys are coming off a big weekend. You guys get to punch your ticket into the Swiss, which is not an easy feat to do. Bucket has even tried himself. Actually, hang on. I got another pivot to make. Bucket, did you play this last weekend or no? Did we miss something?
Again, I mean, you keep bringing this up. I'm just playing for fun, man. And it's a bunch of dads. We go out there, we play against some teams, and we're trying to just.
So you guys did play.
We did, and it wasn't near as good as what Deleted did. I'll tell you that. But we're gonna play them one time. We're gonna get through all of the teams that make the top 16. That's for sure.
One of these days, you'll get in their pool.
I saw in chat that I think Bucket may have dunked Reddles in a game. Is that true?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah, actually, we talked about that. Was it 2 weeks ago now? And even Greg was coming in saying that he needed to not be so humble about it, and that it was a ridiculous dunk. It was a really good one. We need to go back and get it clipped. There is video of it, and show everybody what he's about. But big weekend for you guys. How are you feeling coming off of the open qualifiers this past weekend?
I'm feeling really good. I got into this a year ago. Still, I'm clueless. Learned a lot. It's been a lot of growing pains, and I've looked like an idiot a couple times, that's for sure. But what I have learned is consistency is key, and our team is there. They have to get to that point to where their confidence is through the roof, and they know they can go into a game and they're going to take some games off of these guys. And I think what it is they're not. I think they're used to that, but they're still fresh as a team. So with our team being consistent, I think it's going to change everything. And I think the more they grind, the more they play, they're just going to get more and more dangerous and more consistent. And we're hopefully going to be able to see, them close in on that top 8, top 5 round.
Well said. Our players, Ahduhm, Knight, and Oath, Coach Buddy, formerly known as the Savants roster, Deleted XD as we're coming up, we decided to pick them up. And for 2 events in a row, Open Qualifier 1 and 2, we've made top 16. And as you were saying earlier, I believe it was from a recap, I think it was 5 teams that made it the first time, didn't make it the second time. Young Whippersnappers, as you mentioned before, the Muffin Men, Snowmen, Plot Twist, and the big one, Shopify Rebellion, not making it despite getting 4th. And as a Rocket League fan, before it wasn't that stressful. You had teams that you rooted for, but if they're losing, it's not like that big of a deal, But now being a part of an organization, if I see my team down 1, my heart rate's just through the roof. Like being an actual part of an org has really changed like how Rocket League feels, and it really does bridge that esport and sport gap. There's much more of a personal investment. But yeah, our boys are consistent. They're in the top 16, and I do believe they are playing Pirates on a Boat round 1, so we're excited for that.
Oh, that's a dangerous matchup there, round 1. Pirates on a Boat have they've looked really, really good for an unsigned team. So hope that's gonna be that'll be a dangerous first matchup. But as an org, like you kind of touched on how it's very stressful now, especially with the first open qualifier. Everything last weekend was best of 3. And Alec, what's your guys' take on that as from an org standpoint?
I think, all right. So for starters, we've been back and forth with POB since we played them together as a whole. We were tied actually going into the Marines tourney, and we're asked to play the Marines tourney, so we did it for support. So in game 3, I was getting mad, and I was like, Icy, what are they doing? Like, they're just off. What are they doing? What are they doing? And then we had figured out that POB was dropped down and was going to fight for 3rd place. So it hasn't been confirmed. So I'm not taking away from any of the winners. But apparently the team threw on purpose so they can meet POB to break that tiebreaker down in the 3rd place placements. Yeah.
And I
And
believe it
then
was the Pockets League, the Hot Pockets X Frost Esports. Shout out Mav, who you had last week.
oh yeah,
And
that's what it was, not the
yeah, yeah,
Marines.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
And hey, by the way, the Marines $1,000 tournament, we won that one first place. Shout
Yeah.
out the boys. But yeah,
Hoorah.
Pirates on a Boat lost to Incorrect, by the way, who is one of the 5 new teams to make the regional. Incorrect Terror, really lovely guy. Love his streams as well. Yeah, so Flitz, Angel, and Tool, I think, won that one against Pirates on a Boat. And Deleted XD played So Insane Gaming. And may or may not have through. It's allegedly a rumor. We're not confirming or denying. But we got the win on Pirates on a Boat, and we have the winning record against them. So hopefully that helps their mental going in to round 1 of Swiss Stage on Friday next Friday. So
So you were
yeah.
saying they came down to play you guys?
No,
No.
we came down to play them.
We
Oh, you
came
guys-
down to play
okay.
them.
Ah, okay.
An L is an L. Nothing's confirmed. I will never take away, because as you can see, we didn't secure top 8 in the last open clause, but some of
Or
the
the
stuff I
Swiss,
was
yeah.
watching was just extremely sus for a top 12 team like that. This is consistent as they are.
Hey, shout out So Insane Gaming though. They're also a day 3 team. I believe that's Drewy, Polar, and Wellis.
Mhm.
They got second place in that tournament. But yeah, Rocket League as a scene has been blowing up, and I know you mentioned the volatility of the best of 3s. And as a
Yep.
top 16 seeded team, Deleted XD are benefiting from not really playing dangerous teams until day 3. Like we had a relatively free run the second time in terms of teams that like aren't usually considered main event teams. So event 1 actually, and day 2 we had to play Young Whippersnappers. We beat them and sent them to lowers, but Young Whippersnappers ended up qualifying anyway for event 1. And now in event 2, there have been some crazy upsets in the bracket actually. So Omelette lost day 1 to Cloverity's academy team. I believe it's like Scythe, Pigeon, and their third. And Omelette ended up qualifying all the way through the lower bracket, day 2, day 3, and they made top 16. And also at the end of day 2, I believe Muffin Men lost to Ben. And yeah, there have been many upsets early on day 1 and day 2 in event 2. And event 1, there were not really many upsets, at least until like day 3, right? But event 2, we were seeing upsets with best of 3s, and there's a certain coach that made a tweet that blew up on Twitter. I know y'all have seen that.
Oh wait, hey, we're gonna get to that. I have that's in the hip pocket. We're gonna get to that. Bucket, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, man, there was a lot of things that you guys broke down already early for us, and I'm excited to see what you guys can do there. But let's back up a little bit. I kind of want to know about your org, how it kind of came to be, and then how you guys kind of got to where you are. So start wherever you want in that timeline, but like, give me a little history about you guys and your organization.
So I'll take the lead until the birth of Icy joining XD, and then I'll let him take over from there, because he's my PR guy. He makes sure that everything is just as perfect as it can be, and if it's not, he's there to fix it, and we love him for that. But
I do my
anyways,
best, thank you.
without further ado, so I've had multiple businesses in the league, and coming in and out of that, it come with a lot of nightlife and partying. I found myself going out 5-6 times a week, and I knew at some point it had to come to an end. So my buddies talked me into getting Call of Duty, and I got it, played it, got hooked on it, and then my other buddy talked me into Rocket League. Well, Rocket League to me was more fun because I was actually just decent at it, and I sucked at Call of Duty. But I was the Rock. That's what they called me, because they were better than I was. So my job was to run around the field and demo whoever I could, whenever I could. I missed half of the time because I was pretty shitty, but we'll talk about that later. Anyways, long story short, every time I demo someone, I would yell, "You just got deleted." I'm giving you the PG version. So in chat I would type XD, because apparently like that's the laughing, symbol, etc. And then one day a buddy of mine was like, "Dude, I swear with your personality, if you started an org, you'd have so many people join." And I was like, "I'm too ADHD for this." And he was like, no, do it. So I asked Blazin if he would help me with my org because he was good at PC stuff. Who is my president? Shout out to him. One of the best guys you'll ever meet in your life. So he came over with Razzie. It was me, Razzie, and Blazin. And then we started Deleted XD. Well, I've always wanted to give back. I've always had friends live with me. I've always taken care of people around me. And for some reason, if I'm not nurturing, then I don't feel like I'm serving purpose. And I found my purpose in doing that. And I know it could be very detrimental to someone's life, but it was just something that fuels me and it keeps me going. Just know I'm doing something good. I'm not Mother Teresa by no means, but I like that aspiration to be able to give back. So I was a kid in chat one day. He was on Twitch and he was like, I wish I could afford a console so I could play. And it just clicked in my head. I was like, like what if I can take some of this money and I could start donating PCs to kids who can't afford them or people that don't have them. And Blazin was like, we need to do that. That'd be huge. And I was like, and I see all these people wanting to play like tournaments for 1,000 credits and stuff. I was like, what if we can do like 20,000 Rocket League credits for a tournament? What if we can do 50,000? What if we can do 100,000? And when I tell you, we built Deleted off of about 1 million Rocket League credits, I'm not exaggerating. We had weekly, sometimes twice a week, and they went up every single time, all the way till they got to 100,000, and they go back down to 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 80,000, 100,000, etc. And before you knew it, we had 700 and something members. We had 47 SSLs that were part of the server. So we started handpicking these guys that were winning these tournaments and that looked great, and we were forming teams. We would pick the teams. We would be like, all right, you go good with this person and this person. You go good with this person, this person, this person. Do y'all want to come play? And they were like, yeah. So at one point, I think we had half the bubble roster signed to Deleted XD, and we looked like a joke. But every Frost weekly, every Stride weekly, we had like 8 teams in there, 12 teams in there, Deleted XD A, Deleted XD B, Deleted XD EU, like you name it, we had it NA. And then we started giving the PCs away. And fun fact, we kind of, and I'm not getting off topic, I'm just explaining it so you better understand.
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense.
I'm breaking silence right now. So many people have no idea where we come from or what we're doing or why we're here. So we're about to touch on all that. So then we did a Deleted XD wheel spin tournament for $2,000 cash. And let me keep you in mind that I'm funding all of this. We have no sponsors. I have no partners. I have nobody like giving me money. My parents aren't giving me money. It's nothing like that. Like I'll be 36 this year. I'm a grown man. So I just found a life in here and friends and gaming become a part of my life. And it wasn't for so long. And it kept me in the house and it kept me from going out. So anyways, we did the tournament and our boys over at Frost, shout out to Nick. If y'all do not know him or you have not worked with him, you are missing out. Him and Vaz are absolutely unrealistically, like, hands down 2 of the best people I've ever met in this whole entire journey. They're absolute wizards at their craft, and I wouldn't recommend anybody else better. But we got involved with them. They helped us produce our tourney. We gave away 100,000 Rocket League credits to the streamers because every time you watch this, nobody's ever given back to the streamers, and we wanted to do that. The people that was watching the stream, we advertised a PC giveaway, and then we gave away $2,000 in cash. So I'm like, all right, well, like, let's do this. Well, I drink sometimes, we all drink beer, and yeah, my mouth has kind of gotten me in some places if y'all hadn't seen, but I fix it always. Shout out Icy and my PR team. But Icy spins the wheel, and what we failed to realize was there was 300 people, I think, watching the stream, 200 and something. I don't remember the exact numbers. And about 85% of that was Deleted XD fans, like people that were in the server. And players. So we spin the wheel for the PC giveaway. Everybody's like tuning in. This is a 3-day event. And we spin the wheel and it lands on one of our players that's signed to deleted. So everybody was like rigged.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
And here I am, like buzzing my ass off. Excuse me, don't cancel me. Sorry.
Spin it again.
And I'll tell Icy, I was like, spin it again. And he's like, wait, whoa. And I'm like, spin it again. So he spins it again. It lands on another player of ours. So I was like, all right, y'all, catch us on the next one. I'm like, Icy, spin it again.
Dude, more time.
Let me explain this to you. Every one of these wheel spins is costing me $500 to $700. Okay?
Right.
They're not the top-notch PCs, but they get the job done.
It's a good starter, yeah.
It is. So he spins it again and then again, and I think we did what? I see 5 PCs in that stream.
No, we did 3 in that particular stream.
Was it only 3?
No, and then we did a PC stream before that and a PC stream after that, so 5 total.
Okay, whatever it was. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, this is gonna cost me. I'm already like $4,000 deep. Like production's expensive on this. Like everything, like overlays, everything that they put together for us. Like whatever. I'm just spending money left and right and don't even know where it's going. And then all of a sudden, Icy gets so excited. He's like, "This is a full PC setup: keyboard, mouse, monitor, tower." And I'm
take it
like,
up another notch.
"What are you doing? Well, you're costing me another $400 per PC. Like, what are you doing?"
The CFO is going to go through the roof.
No, that was fun. And then I had some problems with PayPal, and it took me about a month and a half, maybe 2 months on a couple of them to get things sorted out. But I paid it everybody 90% of them out that same day. And I didn't realize how big it was making sure on-time payments was a thing. And
More
thank
so
God.
than most Rocket League events, because it takes like a month and a half for RLCS, let alone most tournaments.
So
some people aren't getting paid still.
No, and those were learning curves for me, but I always made it right. Like Ticarel won a PC one time. I was like a month late on one of his payments too, somewhere in there, and he never blasted me. He never outed me for it. He gave the PC to his wife. I made sure it got to him, and not trying to spill his business. Shout out T, love him to death. Another great person. But to make up for it, I also bought her a monitor because she didn't have one, and I sent that to her. So I've always wronged my rights.
You've kept your word.
Righted your wrongs.
I righted my wrong, whatever. So, anyways, and then and just to backpedal a little bit, we had some religious guys and Christian people in the org, and I was really high on making sure I was catering to everybody that I could.
I feel like I can probably explain this a bit better.
Yeah. You can go ahead from there, but that's how Deleted was born. Like our main focus, and still to this day, and everybody that you can talk to in my org will tell you this. If we don't have a way to give out PCs, all this was for nothing. All of it was for nothing. Like I love helping these kids. I love watching them grow. Like Wolvie was our general manager. Now he's managing young whippersnappers. And I will to this day give him his spot back if he ever asks for it. He's a great kid. And that growth means something to me. These teams that we formed, that we handpicked, some of them are still together. And it's been over a year. Like, tell me, like, when have you seen that? Teams break up all the time.
Yeah, that's hard to come by in this league.
It is. And every one of them have a great relationship with me, and I'm hands-on with these guys. And if they need somebody to talk to, we're there. Day in, day out. I'm very heavily involved as an owner, and I think that's what separates me from a lot of other org owners. They have their management and stuff like that, take care of everything. But me, I try to do everything at once, and they have to say, Prime, chill. We got you, like chill, because I'm always trying to get my hands in everything. But I'm going to let him take over from that story of the church group and stuff.
I mean, I'll definitely explain more about like how I also got involved. But I also wanted to let you guys know this is the Bucket and Hoosier podcast. Like any questions or any like comments, because like
I have one comment, and it's not. I don't want to cut you guys off because that was actually like a really polarizing story, and I really appreciated the depth that you went into. But earlier today, I was doing some research, and I went to your guys' website. and read the like about us, and it says Deleted XD is an online esports organization that aims to bring joy and positivity to the gaming community, dedicated to empowering players of all ages and backgrounds, and strive to create a safe environment everyone can compete and have fun. We provide our members with the opportunity to advance their gaming skills while connecting with other gamers on a global level. But then the last sentence, we're also committed to giving back to the community and recently launched our initiative to provide PCs for kids who cannot afford them. And I just thought like, okay, they just wrote something on their page, but you guys back that up, and that is commendable and just really, really cool to hear. So
Thank
I just
you.
want to say that before you go on. But that was all I wanted to
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you, thank
and real quick, just to chime in on that, I appreciate that. I mean, we work hard for it. We finished the year with 7, 8 months. I think in 8 months we did 7 PCs. And this year we have 6 on the books, and we plan to do 30 by December. So we're growing that number, and the bigger we grow, and the more all the funds that come through on merch, all the funds that come through on stream, 100% of this money goes to those PCs. It does not even pay the players that we have. That's all just completely separate. So that's just what Deleted is about in the mainframe of like, I don't want people to forget that we're not just a startup org. We're here to stay. I can afford to do this, and that's what we're gonna do. And as long as we're giving back and we're building these kids up and we're getting them to the next level and providing them with coaching and resources that they need, then my heart's happy. Our org heart's happy. We keep beating. We keep doing what we're doing. So I appreciate you for taking the time to read that and acknowledge that as well.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Like you guys have a fantastic backstory, and I mean, it comes from a good place, and it seems like it's going in the right direction. So Icy, where do you come into the picture?
Interestingly enough, so as Prime said, it started with Razzie, Blazin, and before the podcast started, I know Bucket and Hoosier, you guys met at I believe Dad's Gaming. So I was actually a member of SRSE, which is a 30 years old and over group. But fun fact, I am not yet 30 years old. I'm currently 27. But yeah, I was friends with people who were already in SRC, and I was one of their like additions that are not yet 30, but cool enough to hang with the peeps. And Prime was a member of SRC, and he was a part of the lobbies, and we just hit it off like really quickly.
Great
We
organization, by the way.
Yeah, huge shout out SRC and Dad's Gaming as well. I got to meet some of you guys over at the Dallas Major, Dallas Fort Worth, or sorry, the Worlds, not even Major. And that was, I believe, last year. But before I go off on a tangent, yeah, I met Prime over at that server, and one day when I'm helping Prime set up like workshop maps on his PC so he can improve, he's like, "Yeah, I'm starting a community. You want to come join?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, brother!" Like Prime was genuinely like one of the best people to play with. So I joined his server, and a lot of my friends that were like kind of looking to also play with like SRSC peeps that weren't old enough also joined over, and like I believe this was February, March 2023, and we just built like a small community. Like at one point we had like 80 or so just active members, maybe like 120 or so members of the server. And as the server grows, we start like telling people like, oh, we need to make mods and board and stuff. And we had no intention of being like an organization yet. Like Prime had the charitable idea, but in terms of esports, we didn't really have that idea yet. And around like mid late March, of course, we have Christian members of our community, and you know, in the U.S., the population of Christians is somewhere between 65%. So if you have a server, chances are you have people who happen to be Christian. And
Right.
since we were a community and people, you know, wanted to hang out and have Sunday sermons, and well, you know, it was a great idea. So we thought like, oh, let's just find whoever is like available online. And turns out the first people we ended up going to were controversial to say the least. I forgot their name already, but
It was
uh
the Iron Disciples. They were
yeah.
actually people that I had just met in my normal life that did this church meetup group every other Saturday. So I was like, all right, well, cool. Why not? Let's incorporate them.
And then within like a day, members came and told us like, "Hey, these guys are controversial. They'll have like transphobic views that are like more so that of just general Christian takes." And yeah, within a day, we kicked them from the server. At the time, we didn't ban anybody. We just kicked. And uh, quick fast forward to like a month and a half ago, where as we were blowing up, and I think it was specifically after we signed Lawler, also deeper into the future. Uh, yeah, someone joined our server, took a screenshot, and left within like an hour, and like blasted us on Twitter. And speaking of Twitter, I'm really new to it, and it's something, I'll tell you. Uh, but yeah, we got to explain everything. They seemed satisfied with the response, and of course, we're an all-inclusive community. We're blessed to be able to have multiple members of the LGBTQ plus, non-binary, mods even and staff. So like,
Absolutely.
it's not for diversity or anything. They just are the best at their job. Like huge shout out Nuz, who's our head mod. Love you, Nuz. Hopefully they're in chat. But yeah, like we've never really had any actual controversies. Like we built up a community of like-minded people who just enjoy being wholesome and gaming. Like it's not just Rocket League. I know a lot of people are playing Pal World recently. Sometimes they'll play Fortnite, the worst Epic game, if you ask me. But again, we started as a community, and Prime was like, you know what? Let's run a tournament. And yeah, that's really how it started. At this point, I was still just a member of the community, participating in the tournaments, getting clapped by SSLs. Myself, I'm just like GC1, GC2, so I'm having fun. But Prime knew that I was a very active and well liked member of the community, and I was known as like the Rocket League encyclopedia. I've always been a huge fan, and he was like, "We'd love to have you on the board." And initially, I was like, "Nah, I don't want to. I'd rather just hang out." But I eventually got coerced by kindness to take part in a board position, and we just kept getting bigger and bigger. Members, I think the very first like major join was S5 Cosmic, who now plays for Detonate. He won a 1v1 tourney, and quite handily so, because Cosmic is a beast at 1v1. And yeah, me being a fan, I'm starting to meet like my idols. Wavy joined really, really early on. Even before he was on Hey Bro, he was still like technically with Daunt and Tivaristo. And in I believe July, we had our Deleted XD Gamers Foundation $2,000 tournament where what's now known as Omelet 2/3. It was Lion Blaze Zanil and Kinze on Subpartic who ended up winning that first place. Second place was Wavy, who's now on TSM, of course. Hazo, who is on G Buffo, who also qualified for event 2, top 16. And of course, we gave away 100,000 credits, 3 PCs, 2 more than we initially planned. And that's when we were like, yes, we can like actually build esports. So then we started like actually focusing, developing like positions and roles. CEO, which is Prime.
So
Blazer.
what around what time of like what year was that? Because it sounds
This
like you
was
guys have been in the same for a while.
No,
this
no,
all
we hadn't
started.
even been here a full year.
No,
Okay.
we're not even a year old yet. We're not even a
Okay.
year old yet. So from February when we like late February when we first started to July, which was our first tournament, to
September or
like
August was the tournament.
was it? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, remember we
But
got it pushed back.
oh yeah. July is like when we were first starting the planning stages. And that's when we started like developing our teams. We started signing a lot of players, including Darklight, Hezi, and Impo was our best team at the time, I believe. And yeah, this was all within months. We grew exponentially so quickly, and it sounds like this was like a long-term project, but it just kept blowing up.
Right.
And within like half a year, we were able to get connections to other staff members that we're able to bring in. So T. Krell and Thomas, huge shout out them. T. Krell and Thomas were formerly with Claverity. They recently got dropped, I
Mhm.
believe, or parted ways. Dropped is not the correct term. And they were instrumental in us getting a foot out into the scene. T. Krell even casted on day 2 of our tournament. And yeah, T. Krell and Thomas helped tremendously. We're able to get into contact with It's Revenge for Real, who is now and still our agent, who is best friends with so many people in the scene and are in the chats and are in the servers. So we're able to ask around, and then me being a Rocket League fan, I'm like getting data sets using Liquipedia results, Octane GG stats. We're doing a lot of research to see like which teams are worth picking up, which players are worth investing in, and we eventually found Savants and signed them very late
Okay,
December.
so kind of a lot of things like
Yeah.
break down there, as in
course.
you guys haven't been you guys are still very new to the scene. You haven't been around
Very.
for very long.
Yep.
Very.
So you talk about like your data set, right? That's the thing I'm cluing into right now.
Sure.
What's some things that you're looking for right now when it comes to a Rocket League player?
Okay, so, and Icy will attest to this, so will Blaze and everybody else that's been on the board. And believe me when I tell you, this is how this worked. We actually would interview a team before we would sign them. And we would
Okay.
break down, there's no bullying. Like, our server was very tight. And that's why it was like, it amazed me that all this drama unfolded. It didn't surprise me from where the source come from, but it amazed me that it unfolded like that, because I can't tell you how many people have been kicked from our org for bullying, for saying racial slurs, being transphobic, being homophobic, just even like like a kid in his own race made a meme about his race, and we kicked him. We were very, very, very tight to make sure that like whoever came in our community was protected and felt safe. Like, we wanted that home environment. That was
said.
our goal.
So
And,
the first standpoint is maturity is what you're looking for.
Yes.
But you can be young. We kind of went down on our age because we wanted to be rated E for everyone.
Mhm.
We didn't want to be a bozo server, but we knew the younger that you got, the younger that you got, the more inclined to be toxic that you were. So,
Yeah, we were all young once.
correct. So channeling that, and that's why we have like 8 or 9 mods. We have people that are constantly around the clock watching, and we have built a hell of an organization and a family. Like, I love these guys. Every night before I get off, I tell them, man, I love you. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. And I mean it. You know, it's not just words. We're a community, and I think that's where that line crossed of, we don't have to just be an esports org, because we were told so many times you can't be esports and a community. Bullshit. That's what we are. And we made that happen, and we're going to continue to make that happen because these players deserve respect. So back to your question, it's like how we picked these guys were, I had Andy, Toasty, and what was their third at the time?
It wasn't
5 Up. No,
It might have
yes,
been
it was. It was 5 Up.
Yeah.
So I had talked to them. They were a little heftier than I wanted to pay, but I was trying to get them on clearance. full disclosure. And then I was talking to Money Expert, and they were LF3. I really liked that team a lot and those guys. And then I tried to reach out to Zanil, Lion Blaze, and Kensei. And then when they split, I was in talks with Zanil, I believe.
Zanil.
Anyways, and then I also, we were gonna go Sam. You know, we were like, dude, it would be so awesome to give PCs back to these Sam kids, you know, because they're, I'm not saying anything bad, but they would probably appreciate the PCs a lot more, you know, than the kids nowadays.
It's not like you can go to a micro center in Brazil.
Correct.
Or,
So
Argentina or anything.
we actively talked to some Sam rosters, and then we just decided, we were like, you know what, we're making this too complicated. Like, let's find who fits. Who can we get that we can make sure we pay a fair amount of money. We put an incentive-based contract together that makes sense with bonus structures, and we help each other. And who can we grow with? Who do we see that has mad top 5 potential if they are just playing cracked out of their mind and consistent? Like, who do we have that's out there that's being overlooked? And I had my eye on Oath. Oath went to Clarity, and after like a day or two, he was dropped. And I tried to reach out to him, and Oath probably like, who is this guy? You know, didn't even respond to me, nothing. And then, thank God, Reveal came aboard because him, Space Beer, and Buddy were friends, and they were coaching and managing Savants. And then we set up a meeting with them, and I told them my vision and what I wanted to do. I told them that I'm not going to force them to stream. I'm not going to force them to, you know, do content for us. I'm not going to do any of that because that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to make them feel like they're in jail or they're in school. I want them to have fun. That is what all of this was for in the beginning, and then people turned it into something it wasn't, from what I've noticed. And they came into the org, and they were like, you could tell they were a little uncomfortable, and I was like, where are y'all comfortable at? Where are y'all comfortable? Are you more comfortable in your own org? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, go
With their own
play in your
server,
org.
yeah.
Go play in your server. Just send me an invite so I can pop in. And we literally just took all of the restrictions that these orgs put on their players, because when they're making investments, they want some kind of return. They want publicity, etc. I meant it when I said it. All we care about is being able to give these PCs to these kids. That's it. And being able to have a team to put XD on the map like that is just a blessing. And
So
I'm thankful
what's
for it.
something that you've seen orgs put on players in contracts that you don't completely agree with?
Okay, so I've seen them force them to play X amount of hours a week, which I don't blame them. You know, it's grinding. And some might argue, well, you're an idiot for thinking that they shouldn't do that because they're being paid. I get it. But, okay, this is the best way I can explain it. I love to offshore fish. I love to deep sea fish. It's a passion of mine. But have either one of y'all ever truly been offshore fishing?
Yes, I have.
Nope.
Have you been on a
No.
charter, or did you go with a friend?
Where's this
I went
going?
on a charter. I didn't get a chance to go just out with a friend.
Okay. How tiring was it to pull those fish in?
Oh, it's super tiring.
Now, imagine having to prep that boat, go
Yep.
out there, fight those fish all day long, come back, completely scrub and wash all the salt off the boat, the poles, everything,
Mhm.
and then have to clean the fish. Like, you are done. By the time you get back, you're done after you've been beat up in the
Yeah,
ocean
you're
all the time.
exhausted.
So the whole point is, if you do it too much, it becomes a job. And as much
Right.
as I like to do it, I pace myself with offshore fishing, because if I do it too much, it becomes work. And once it becomes work, it does not become fun anymore.
So I have said this here when Rocket League made their changes with RLCS, and that was to me, they are forecasting that they don't want this to become a career. Would you agree with that statement? Because that's where
They-
that's where it was going.
Probably. I would agree with it.
I think that these are kids, and for starters, I think paying them as much as they've been making took the fun out of this, and it also allowed other startups and other orgs that like have good players and good potential to decline or to not be able to, you know, produce in their value because of how saturated the industry is with how much they're paying. Like, you get paid $20,000 a kid for a team, like you're paying 60 grand for a roster. You know, I get it. It might have made sense when you were guaranteed RLCS, but
Right.
now you got to fight for it. And I think everybody just saw this past weekend. Nothing's guaranteed. You can have one bad off day, and one B plus A minus team could be peaking to their full potential, and they could take you down.
Oh,
And now,
100%. The doors are wide open now with the changes that were made. The way it was the last 2-3 years where it was going, it was aiming towards being a more structured traditional sports league, and now we're seeing it go back to just a straight open format where any given Sunday, any given weekend, everybody has the same chance. So, I mean, I give big kudos to you guys for wanting to stick around in that. Your goal is different than what seems like every other org's goal is, which is they're trying to fully build a brand, whereas you guys just want to give back and just see it go back to the community.
that is
Well
it.
said. And
That's it.
even so, right? Like, with that being our goal, we're still Rocket League fans first and foremost.
Right.
Like, as we were saying before, we did a lot of research. We looked into, like, of course, their ranked results. We looked into their off-season tournaments results. Shout out Rizzo, James Bott, and also J Cubed earlier on with the draw. Tactical Banditry, big shout out Pranav. Like, there have been so many off-season tournaments that these players play in. Of course, Frost, Claverity, Stride with their weeklies. We did some research and we found like which players performed consistently at a high level, which players performed consistently even with other players, and of course, as you said, we also kind of looked into how mature the players were. We, had actually a controversy with Darklight when he was with Impo and Hezi, and I know Lethamir put out a video saying, "Oh, is this the most toxic player?" Like Darklight's an amazing guy, and he's still on our
Yep.
server.
He
Yep.
is. Yep.
But
Shout
at the
out.
very same time, he's been in some controversies. I know Cam is known for it. Reddles, especially earlier in his career, was known for it, and people grow, of course. But we wanted to go with a more mature roster. Adam and Knight are both teammates in CRL for Maryville University, as well as their the coach Buddy. So Oath is also for Ball State. You know, these are college age, like they're young adults, and they're very mature. They're very cordial. They're very um, time oriented, and it's good because the scene is very young, especially with Psionics and Epic moving the minimum age down to 13, which is
Yep.
crazy in my
Right, and
opinion.
that was kind of like one of the things is that it was moving. We had always stated that it felt like you needed to move it to the right. You needed to move it up to 18 if you wanted to make this an actual league. And then we see them come out and lower it back down to 13 to match
Mhm.
with what Epic's doing with Fortnite. So it kind of opened those doors back up of, well, how serious do they want to make this thing right now? And you're not really communicating it, so it's kind of it's I don't know, it's a very uneasy situation, I feel like, for anybody trying to run an
Yeah.
org the way we've traditionally seen them run, not how you guys are running them.
Absolutely. The incentives are not like they're definitely not good for big organizations. Again, we're a small up and coming organ. Like through our ideas and our research and our the advice that we get from many established people in the org, especially Lawler. Huge shout out Lawler. Like not only is he our caster, he's an absolute genius. He is Mr.
Yeah, he
Rocket League,
is.
as I'd like to say. And he's right on so many things, and we've been able to take his advice and implement it. And yeah, as you said, it's not very easy for orgs. For example, Shopify Rebellion, who are a huge org. Shopify is an insanely huge company, multi-billion-dollar company. They have one of the best facilities for esports in Canada, and I believe it's in Toronto, where like Gen G's, apparently Jack and Nolly were there when they couldn't get visas. Complexity CRR was there when he couldn't get a visa. Like Shopify is even like giving out rooms. They have like a whole like DreamHack level facility, and they couldn't make top 16. They won't be on main event. They won't be on the main Rocket League broadcast. And as a company, you look at that and you're like, why should I invest in this?
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, Justin is Mr. Rocket League himself in terms of the player. He is the This is Rocket League creator. If someone knows Rocket League, they hear of Justin. Of course, Squishy with Muffin Men, Energy with Garrett G. Like these are huge players, and Energy and Muffin Men almost like one of them were going to be eliminated, and they were eliminated. Squishy won't be a main event for the first time since I think season 3 either, and this is Justin's first time not making main event. And yeah, this format's extremely volatile, but um, at the same time, I understand why they would do it. One is like probably just the economy. Like, of course, esports, as many people say it, is it's always not profitable. Uh, although there's a lot of viewers, um, I'm guessing they had to make cuts simply just to make it happen longer. You don't want to just be in the red and have to implode. You want to make sure everyone's paid on time. You want to make sure all of the staff are paid on time. They probably just made the necessary cuts that they had to. But at the same time, I can see like as an org, there's so many different things that we're unhappy with, and for the pros themselves, unhappy with, because I'm sure Justin, Parth, and Two Piece are not happy with the format, although it might be in hindsight. And there are many arguments against that, like, oh, just get good, I guess. But I mean, there's so many different factors. Like, yeah, I mean, Farah put it on a tweet, and I know we're probably going to get to that, but
Yeah, we will. I think to kind of sum up where you guys have brought this, you guys are in this is a maybe a business term like disruptors, right? You're
yeah,
following your company culture, and that brings you to a way to break down barriers that are already there, which is how things change. And as we see the like climate change here, anyway, we're getting as a fan of the game and new players coming in, we're kind of seeing the changing of the guard, not only because of the way our RLCS has put new rules out, but also these players are kind of primed for the change. I think the torch is kind of being handed in a couple places, maybe hand force, maybe not, but you guys are part of that. And whether or not it's timing or because of all the great things you guys are doing, you're right in the middle of the mix. And that's a really cool place to be at, in my opinion. Can you kind of talk about that now? Like, you're here. What is that? Are you springboarding somewhere? Are you guys really excited? Are you like where are you? Where's your headspace?
So I'll tap in just a second. Mine's going everywhere.
Yeah,
Mine's going everywhere. I want to buy everything and everybody. I want to merge. I want to blow up so big that we can actually make a difference in esports and the game of Rocket League and how things are laid out. There's so many great people in our corner, and we back them as well. When we first started, we relied on orgs like Lotus and Frost and Claverity and all these orgs to help us, to basically be big brother and show us the ropes. And then my first idea was to get all these orgs together. Let's put in a big pile of money and just have a big org tournament so we can show everybody that we all work together and we're not against each other.
Yeah.
And that failed miserably, but it was an attempt. But that being said, now we're in the light. Like young whippersnappers, they made a good run and bandits and the draw, and everybody was like, "Who are these guys?" It's just some put together team, and then they make top 16, and then they break into top 11, and you're just like, these kids actually have shown that they deserve to be here. So anybody not putting credit on their name, or anybody that says, "Hey, they had an easy run," we watched them take out NRG. We watched them play teams and go to game 5s against teams that they should not have any place doing that with. But they came with a statement that, "Hey, we're here. We're here. We might not have caused the biggest wave, but we made a splash." And it's that type of mentality that I love. It's that underdog story that drives me. So I want our org to be as big as it's allowed to be, and I want us to be known for a home, not just an organization. I want to keep the same roster for as long as they want to be with us until they retire. I don't care. They could be top 30. They're top 10 in my book, and they always will be because I've seen it and they've proven it. And they took a chance on me like I took a chance on them. And that is that debt that you just can't ever repay. And they deserve greatness. They deserve the spotlight. They deserve to be top NA because they're good people. There's these players outside of Rocket League that you spend time with and you talk to, and you're like, damn, that's a really genuine person. And to get that in 3 guys on the same squad is extremely hard, especially with egos. But I'm happy with it. And to fall back on your question, I'll get off topic. I'm sorry. Like we said, we're ADHD, man. Like, this was probably a bad idea for y'all.
No, this is great.
Never. Love it.
I want to make a bang. I want to make an absolute bang. I want to leave Deleted XD's name in the sand and nobody can erase it. That's what I want to do. I want my community to thrive. Watching Icy almost cry when we do good, and literally, I'm not joking. And when we do bad, we have heart attacks together. And then I had him and my president, Blazin, over at my house during the first open claws, and literally, I'm surprised we didn't set off car alarms. We were just screaming to the top of our lungs. And that energy, being a part of that is a high that you just can't put a price on. It's a memory that you can't pay for. And what we're doing is we're building memories, and we're opening gateways and doors for these players. And we're trying to not keep the wheel spinning in this case. We're reinventing it. And we're going to continue to reinvent it. And change, everybody has to be able to adapt to that and create their own economy. And with us, we know where our sights are. We plan on growing, and we got a lot of big things in the works right now.
Well, and you kind of
so.
touched on that, right? Like, just touched on that, right? Like, just growing and being that person that they can take counsel with you, right? And something that recently came to light was Buddy's tweet, and
Yeah.
Buddy responding to Lion
Lion
Blaze, and there's definitely some animosity there.
Quick insider info. Like, they're
I didn't
actually
see any
good
of that.
friends. No,
What
no,
am
no,
I?
no, no, no.
Oh,
I actually asked, like, buddy, you good, bro? No, they're just it's just banter. Like, they're like Buddy's not just like young. He's pursuing a data science master's. Like, he's not a kid, and neither is Lion Blaze, who's also been a part of the scene for a long time.
right.
Lion Blaze being one of the best ones mains, like, sure, he can deal with toxicity. No, they're actually like good friends. It's just like banter between them. But
Okay.
it looked toxic.
It did.
Yeah,
It look the way it came
yeah.
off. It looked like somebody who got took some counsel and was like, "Hey, you might want to go relook at that."
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean, obviously, like, I'm Buddy didn't mean to, and it's literally just jokes. Uh, and I'm not just saying that as PR. I like got worried and asked, but yeah, and of course, like, they've known each other for a while. Buddy's been a long time in the CRL scene. I believe Lion Blaze and Buddy
Mhm.
were teammates on why am I forgetting the team that
Was it
Lion Blaze
Northwood?
went Northwood, yes. And they were literally teammates on Northwood. And of course, like, when you see omelets lose on day 1, might as well banter. And it doesn't matter because they made day 3, and congrats, but you still suck. Like, that's kind of just like teammates banter in a way. So
Yeah.
it was definitely way too aggressive than necessary. But I mean, I like panicked. Not gonna lie, I didn't think it was a joke either. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
definitely did not come off that way.
yeah.
But
People forget they were literally teammates for a long time. So
well, and that's kind of like in the scene, right? You see people that were teammates, that were friends, and I think we haven't really seen it in the Rocket League scene, but maybe that was our first, like, oh, is it we've seen former teammates actually turn on each other, because even though there is all the egos and everything, it is a big pull of friends at the end of the day that end up teaming with each other. You don't really see we haven't seen a lot of that out there. But there
well
is
said.
inklings of that you hear rumors about in the background
I
of,
think like a big example that happened last year is when Red Bulls got kicked off of SSG, and there was the whole Arsenal Red Bulls beef.
yep.
Fast forward a year, and they're like the bestest of friends. Like, Arsenal and Red Bulls are two of the most respected and well liked members of the Rocket League community. Like, these two are probably like a part of maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 content creator pros, if not the big two, maybe along with apparently Jack and Lethamir, if you still count him as a pro. Like, these people's opinions are listened to religiously. Like, they are super well liked. And again, Red Bulls and Arsenal, like, they had major beef last year, understandably so. But they're, adults in the end, probably communicated, both found success separately, and, came back together, and they're best friends again. So, of course, like, one benefit of uh at least having a team of adults is that there won't really be any petty beefs. And with a young player base like Rocket League, you can only understand that some beefs will start from very petty circumstances. But yeah, I mean, Buddy and Lion Blaze are friends. It was just banter.
Yeah,
And
it was. I had to ask the question. Saw it out there. I was like,
no,
all right. So who gave him counsel? Who did he talk to? So, but it's good to hear that it was just it's just friends having fun in the public eye. So
yeah,
Bucket,
without giving us a heart attack, hopefully next time. So
Bucket, how you doing down there?
I'm good, man.
We've done taken over the whole podcast by accident, man.
No,
Please
this is
feel
my
free to talk.
favorite thing. Like I said, we love to take the conversation where it goes and hear all the ins and outs, the things that you might not get to talk about anywhere else, or people get interested in these things. Like, I'm writing things down because there's things I'm going to want to write down later whenever I post about these things, and
thanks.
just trying to keep all of it in the memory bank.
Nice.
So you guys
Just wanna
keep
make
doing
sure.
your thing and chatting about it, and I'm going to keep on making sure that we move to
Perfect.
the direction where, we've kind of got halfway there at this point, and you guys are going off on these tangents, and I love it. So
yeah,
warned
we love when people do tangents, like, because it's showing us what you're really thinking, and what's on your mind, and what you want to share with everybody, because that's what we have found in doing this is, as Bucket said, this stuff's not really talked about. It's just kind of past 3 years. It's been, just RLCS pros are pros. It's like, well, they're people too, and there's
people.
things going on in the background that would possibly interest people if someone else is thinking of starting their own org or wanting to just get in as a player? What does that look like for them? As you guys have gotten players and whatnot, moving forward, like you have your first real team. I know some of the rules make it hard to start a second team, but it sounds like you guys have a big enough player pool. Is that I see? I got you laughing. So
No,
I'm guessing.
that's the
I'm
issue.
guessing
So
that's been a topic of conversation.
no, as Deleted XD started, we had like 8 or 9 teams. We had a lot of
12.
players.
We
And
had
then
12
Psyonix,
at one point.
Psyonix comes out with the rules that you're only allowed to have one team, just one single one. Like, for
Yeah,
example,
but
Genji
there's
Mobile
ways
One.
around the rules.
Yeah, yes, but like they can't represent our org, and we're still friends. We're in the servers. Like, of course, Claverity has an academy team. Genji Mobile One Racing Black, in my opinion, the best women's carball team. They're absolutely insane. They play under a different team name, and they're just not associated with the org. And that's the thing, right? Imagine if Deleted XD had 2 or 3 teams in the top 16. That's so weird. Like Deleted XD A played Deleted XD B. That's a conflict of interest. So understandably so, Psyonix and Epic put in that rule so that there isn't like a conflict of interest.
We
And
created that rule. I think
huh?
they saw what we were
They saw
doing
what
and made that rule.
yeah, imagine there's 24 teams in the open qualifiers. One of them will make it statistically.
Somebody's gonna make it.
The only relevance that we ever had to Psyonix. Like, I don't know who these guys are, but they got like 12 teams in our sponsor tourneys. We're not gonna have this shit when open quals comes around.
Yeah,
works,
it is
yeah.
wild to think.
I actually started another organization since we're getting the cats out the bag.
Okay.
Roxonics, okay? I birthed Roxonics, and before it even took off, it got shut down. It's like, hey, Roxonics paid for logos, got a business entity, like, let's go. And then all of a sudden the rules drop. One team, you can't be associated with like one owner, whatever it was. And I was like, oh my God. So I would go to my closest people like, hey, I'm going to gift you an organization for free. I've already spent money in it. Like, it's yours. You can have it. You are the owner. You collect the winnings and everything. Like, you go.
So I haven't looked
Y'all
too big in the
are-
rules on that, but is
Sure.
it like you said, association, right? How high up does the association have to cut off?
I can't own 2 orgs, 2 teams. It's a conflict of interest.
But you could create an LLC, and the LLC is not yours. It's just an
One thing is
LLC.
we want to respect Psyonix and Epic and
Yep.
Blast. We want to make sure
Okay.
that like they have done so much to help us. Like being a fan of the scene, I didn't really understand how much work goes in the behind the scenes. Mateo, if you ever watch this, you are the GOAT. Just Mateo, you're insane. The amount of work that you do, I do not know how you get sleep. And they've worked closely with us. We've had a lot of different twists and turns and questions, and like we want to make sure that we allow Rocket League to run as smoothly as possible. We don't want to bend any rules. Like the movements that we're making are in the scene, not in the company itself.
They don't affect us as the execs. They affect the community and they affect the players. And we have to. It's what a lot of people lack is like that knowledge of understanding that you as a company and the people that make the company, it takes all of you together as one. Like you can't just be owners and executives and make decisions that could affect everybody else. It trickles down. So we just want to make sure that our team never gets disqualified. We want to make sure that our community has a team to support. And we want to make sure that that growth is given and bestowed upon every single member of Deleted XD. And if that means that we got to be Mother Teresa and we have to walk a fine line, then we're making sure that we're doing everything by the rules because we have plans to have a car. Please. And
A decal.
a decal in the item shop by 2025. We've been given specific instructions on what we need to do. And for an org that's only, when that comes around, that's been around barely 2 years, to have that happen and accomplish that would be huge. We're not going to get our...
So I've been actually curious about that. There are benchmarks that you have to hit in order to get a decal?
It's relatively very, very simple.
Are we allowed to leak? I don't think so.
Yeah, I say you don't have to do that. Just that's why I was asking. Are there specific benchmarks?
No, full disclosure. It is 100%. Nobody told us that that's going to happen. We have a goal.
Okay.
So we have a goal to accomplish. We ask the right people.
Yeah, Thomas in chat said, "Don't say."
Yeah, I'm not. we've asked the right people, and we got a great email that tells us, you know, what the requirements are to have that, and I think we're well on our way there, and we have to just keep playing by the rules and support, and eventually, you know, we're all going to thrive together, and I can't wait for that moment, because this little org is going to turn into something great and big, and we're already getting there.
I mean,
You
it's-
guys are
yeah,
super
you first, Mark.
unique,
Thank you.
because you're, like I said, disrupting, right? And every time you do something, they're throwing an Uno reverse card at you, but then you throw it right back at them, which is super funny. And it seems like, instead of like, you guys are steering into the skid a little bit sometimes, where you'll just go, okay, let's go network with these guys. We're all on the same team. How can we go along with you instead of you? And it seems to be working. Like, these are the things that you hear on the other side of this, the places that fail or don't want to be a part of it or whatever, because they butt heads or they say we're not going to do that. And you guys just keep on pivoting or making friends and doing that. Is that kind of like the better way to do it, the networking with these guys, putting them in your corner? I mean, you guys have made a lot of contacts in a short amount of time.
So I really wanted to like
Yep, go ahead.
two major reasons I feel like really contributed to our success. One, we're just huge fans of Rocket League. Like, we love this game. We love playing it. We still play it every single day. Like, Prime is still like demo chasing in the private matches and the deleted XT calls. I'm still trying to like learn a flip reset as a 1500. I suck. Please coach me. No, like, one, we love Rocket League and we want to see it succeed. So we don't want to. There's no point on stepping on the toes. It's a symbiotic relationship with Epic and Blast. Like, our success is their success and their success is our success. And then, at least at how fast we grew, I think that just being likable people matters. And it feels so weird to talk about ourselves as likable people, because that's like quite egotistical. But I just love everyone that we've met. Like, one quote that like is commonly put out with just new spaces is like, never meet your heroes. They might not be as good as person. Like, at least in the Rocket League scene, every single person that I've been able to meet, firstly just as a fan and a nobody, and now as like a caster and a VP of a top 16 org, like, everyone has been absolutely amazing. And it's not just us. Everyone else is super likable too. So we've been able to mesh, we've been able to make friends, and we've been able to just be wholesome and humble and real. And it's helped us so much. I think that like that alone is what propelled us to go so far. And again, we couldn't have done it alone. Like, we needed help. Like, huge shout out Frost and their peeps. I know Nick NCS and I'm Vizera. They helped run our first tournament. Without them, we would have tanked horribly.
Without a doubt.
So the very first time I started streaming, T-Krell like went into my Streamlabs settings. He's like, yeah, change this, change that, change this, change that. Because I never streamed before. I never casted before. Like, working with casters, Starcoin Hero, now known as Tucker, huge shout out Tucker, showed me the ropes. Visionary One I got to work with for day one of RLCS calls, and like before and after the call, he gave me advice, told me things I did wrong, right? Like, there's this, it's such an amazing community. Like, first and foremost, like, Rocket League has a really, really nice like community, player base, staff. Of course, there's like players that are known by as being toxic, but they're just passionate, like, first and foremost as well. So it's just being blessed with such a good community has propelled us forward, and we've just provided that same energy, and it's really just worked from there.
Yeah, you guys seem your experience. I mean, I think it's a big credit to where you guys started it, the standards that you set, and that has what's helped to create and give you the experience that you've had. Because a lot of things that we have heard or like ran into ourselves, like that's not always the case. But it definitely like you guys are going. It sounds like you guys are just going in the right direction right now,
Of
which
course.
is
Part of it is
awesome.
also just luck. Like, uh, chances are we sign savants and they like go out like bottom 48. No, we made top 16 twice, and of course, like, there's probably other factors. Good advice from Lawler, from coaching, incentive based contracts, which I can't really get into, but basically, instead of, for example, as Prime said earlier, promoting just hours in the game. I think you mentioned Rizzo's dad earlier. I think he has like 80,000 hours in Rocket League or something crazy like that.
Oh wait.
Sorry.
To be
Insider
fair,
info
most
right
of those
here.
are AFK.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yes,
He doesn't.
that's what Icy was saying the other day.
Exactly. So
He
why
doesn't turn it off.
why tell players to have certain hours in Rocket League when they could just go AFK and we can't tell? So instead, like we want them to work harder, but we want to do it in a natural way that actually motivates them and makes it less like a job. Because of course, being a pro is a job, but also our pros are also CRL players. They have another team they have to worry about, and they're also college students. And again, Rocket League, as amazing as it is may or may not be the careers for many people. So we don't want to force Rocket League down their throats all the time. It has to be like balanced, and we want to just incentivize good habits and have them motivated to play to do better. And
So like that's a good
that's
that's pretty good
yeah.
transition towards Ferris tweet that he put out talking about
Nice.
a lot of the changes and how it's affecting RLCS going forward. So talking about things like the removal of auto qualification, having to qualify for every event, it being just a double elimination bracket, seeding and how it is. I mean, kind of what he describes in my opinion, is not fitting for what you guys are doing. Because if the changes in what he highlights, that really looks at it going back to the what this being a career and you being a pro, whereas it feels like you guys are more looking at it as just come do this for fun. We're all just having a good time, and let's see where it goes. So like how do you guys take Farrah's comments that he put out there?
I just wanted
So
you first, Prime. My fault.
no, you're fine, brother. You can tell we're
Sorry.
both so excited to
Yeah,
answer these questions because
all the time.
y'all have no idea like the learning curves that we have had to go through and the emotions and the fights. Like we have been in some major fights amongst each other, trying to do the right thing and meaning well, but seeing like so many different versions and just like we grew faster than we had the manpower to keep up with, and that caused a lot. And but through all those dark times, like we came together, and I promise you, it's we fight like brothers. Like it is a true family ship within the execs and the moderators over at Deleted. But to touch on your comment, um man, I could go on this for hours, but I'm gonna keep it short. Um, we have no expectations, none. We
Okay.
wanted to take a top 12 team that had potential to be even better, and we wanted to show them what it was like to be supported in a different way instead of being forced to do something or to worry about us dropping them every time they perform bad. Like that anxiety plays a major part in these kids. And like just imagine, like now Shopify, all three of those players are wondering like, are they going to replace me? Are they going to replace me because they had a bad game? Like we're never going to have that. Like these kids are going to come in and they're going to play for us and they're going to have a home and they're going to feel safe. They're going to feel loved. They're going to feel supported. And I promise it might not be this go around. It might not be next. It might be at the end of the year. It might be next year. But you watch what I'm telling you, that safe environment, once that wall is broken down between the players and our organization and what we're doing, you're going to see some of the most top performances because they're going to stumble into it, luckily, because they're just going to be having fun and they're going to forget that they're playing for money, or they're going to forget that they're in open quals. They're just going to go out there and they're going to do what they do best, and they're going to love playing with each other. And that performance is going to make them peak. And when that happens, they're going to become so dangerous that every single team that are better than them are going to be scared to play them. And I cannot wait for that to happen because it's already taken place.
So you wouldn't be in favor of like having the auto qualification at all to where those whatever your team say they do perform multiple like in 2 and 3, then they should be rewarded for their past performance?
Why?
So I wanted to go into it, like especially when it comes to us, right? We're a team that didn't make top 8, but hey, we might make it this time. Not trying to cast curse it.
Correct.
With Farah, right? He's coaching at least what many people see is the best team in the world, and Rise, Vatira, and Atau or Ato or I say it's how. I say it's how. I think it feels more natural that way. Either way, and in his position working with Carmine Corp, like a huge content creator organization ran by Kometo, like if I just won the event, I would not want to have to go through open quals playing like a GC2 team either. Like I
Right.
definitely see where he's coming from. And then also a lot of the points that he's making is not just selfish. Like he's talked with many people within the Rocket League community.
He
And
has.
at the very least, one thing that I think everyone agrees on is that best of threes are so volatile. Like at the very least, like make it best of five. And especially for top teams, right? We played 2 series day 1 and day 2. And for the really good teams, day 3 usually, right?
Right.
Like and not many orgs do this. We do watch parties for day 1, day 2, and day 3. Like we have Lawler cast deleted XD clapping some GCs and low SSL sometimes. And he's always like coaching, he's always, doing Lawler things. Like Lawler is so entertaining.
Yes, he
Absolutely
is.
amazing content creator. But that's the thing. Like, if we made it best of 5 from day 1, I think a lot less upsets will happen. I think that's an immediate fix that doesn't mess with anything too much. That will make everybody happy. Like pros will not mind the extra like game or so or game or two for that extra security of not panicking when somebody like triple flip reset pre-jump musty flick into your net like
Right. We had Greg on, and Greg talked about that, of how in a best of 3 you drop that one game and you're even a pro, and now you're on the ropes. Like it's very close to being over. So I think a lot of us would, a lot of people in the community would agree, yes, that going to a best of 5, at least for Major 2, would help adjust it a lot and bring more sense to what is the direction that they're wanting to go. Because we hear things like you guys were saying, you seem to have very good communication with Rocket League and Psionics, and everything we've heard, everybody else is getting silenced. So it almost feels like they're.
I feel like that's partly like my fault. I just DM people a lot. It's hard to ignore somebody that bothers you so much.
Well,
there's
no,
nothing wrong
we
with that.
accidentally stumbled upon the opportunity. Lawler obviously,
Oh yeah, okay.
he's connected really well, but we had an incident happen when all that drama unfolded, and believe it or not, we had
I gotta ask, what drama are you referring to?
So
With
whenever we brought the
church,
whenever we brought the church group in almost a year ago, I was talking with a girl, and long story short, it didn't work out. And then she started causing problems within the org and throwing up unrealistic like suspicions that were not true. I had a meeting with all my mods in a different server trying to get people to leave, convinced 2 of my main people.
This is way before we were in Esports, by the way.
Yeah,
we're still in the community at the time.
It scared them away. One of them at the time was like one of our higher ups, VP, something like that. And then over fabricated stuff, assumptions. And then I prove everything. I removed her from the board. I removed her from or she left the organization, and she wreaked havoc all the way out the door. And we thought we were never going to get over that drama. And then all of a sudden, we sign Lawler. We start making a splash. We make top 16. Everybody deleted all over Twitter, etc. We're excited. We're happy. We're like some kids that are going to the zoo for a field trip. We're just over the moon. And all of a sudden, they want to strike it back up. She got her little group together, and they want to bring something back up for a year ago. Well, in the eyes of the public, it's fresh. It just happened. Because most of these people didn't even know who we were when this happened.
Right.
So all of a sudden, we get permissions to stream, to community stream the games, and we're like, oh my god, like it is happening. We're able to stream RLCS, official party, watch whatever, and you could tell I don't know shit about this, but we get those permissions, and then all this drama happens. And then, people do their investigation, and they're like, yo, this happened a year ago, Prime. Like, you handled it. You made an official statement the day after it happened. Like, what's the drama about? And I was like, people are literally, it's sad because they don't know what they almost hurt. They didn't just hurt me. I could quit right now. I got enough money. I can start another org and never mention that I own it, and nobody would know, and get another team and relive this behind the scenes. I'm fine. But that's not the point. They're trying to destroy kids getting free PCs. They're trying to destroy a community that puts a safe community for people to come play that get picked on or need people to talk to. Like, there's no telling how many lives, I hope I'm wrong, but there's no telling how many lives have probably been, like, I don't want to say saved, but like helped by just being in our community and all the support that we have and the support structure and all of the higher ups and the mods that we counsel people all the time. Every single day we have a counsel session with somebody because they know they can come talk to us. And to us, that's bigger than life.
Right.
And we're making a difference for these kids. So when you try to hurt that out of your own selfish ways, you're hurting something so much bigger. So anyways, we're sitting there. It is the day of. We're 4 hours away from our team, playing the first event, and we get a message that our streaming rights have been suspended.
Okay.
We have no answers. Icy almost goes into tears because you got to understand like what we went through to just get to this point.
Right. That's a big hill to climb.
Correct. Well, then Icy writes this massive email. Shout out to Mateo. Mateo pointed us in the right direction for who we needed to talk to. And he writes this big email, this massive email. And it's to the right people. Well, next thing you know, the head of every single department that you could think of that puts all this on was in this email. And they instantly, I'd say instantly, it wasn't, not even an hour later,
Within like an hour of sending the email, so
wrote us back, apologized, and reinstated our permissions.
And it
So
wasn't us alone. Like, I'm sure members of our community helped. Lawler was a huge help. Our friends and like a lot of the people we mentioned before vouched for us. Like, and again, and I really wanted to like bring this back a bit, right? At the very least, we know that a specific party was being malicious, but at the same time, as a general community member, you don't want orgs that actually have legitimately hurt people to continue in this space. It's when you look at it from the shoes of like a regular user who doesn't know anything about deleted XD. Like, okay, if there's a transphobic org rising, you don't want that. Not like it's very real to do that. Like, it's necessary to have checks and balances
Right.
for many things, not just like what are normally associated with cancel culture. But I know Mav talked about it. There's so many orgs that don't pay players, especially like with women's carball. Like, I feel so bad for a lot of these players who've succeeded and had to wait so long to get the pay that they were promised, the staff to get the pay that they were promised. And like, there's so many genuinely quote unquote cancelable orgs that exist, and I know why that happens. Like, it's necessary for the community, for the public talking space to hold groups and people accountable. But at the same time, we weren't what they said. And as somebody who, again, was new to Twitter at the time, I had to make one because now I'm a part of an org. I don't use social media. I'm just a guy. And it feels horrible. Like, you feel lost and you have no idea how to navigate it because you ask them, like, what can we do better? We want to make sure we're doing right. We don't want to hurt anybody. We haven't hurt anyone, but we still don't want to make mistakes in the future, right? So it's so difficult to actually navigate through that. And like, thankfully, we weren't alone. We had made friends along the way. We had people that knew who we were. We had a community that loved us and were able to fight for us, and we love them. Like, we wouldn't be here without our
nope,
community and the people that have helped us. Every single,
nope.
like, there's so many names I've mentioned through this podcast. There's still so many more. It, like, we are not like a big company. We're just some guys, and we were able to build something amazing, and that's really how it is. Like, uh hopefully we will be able to be more prepared for anything in the future, if that at all. But yeah, like, we've had to deal with that, and we've come out of it stronger, smarter, and more wholesome. So it's been nice.
That's awesome, man. It's like you guys have been on this journey, and you've had to walk through all these different topographies, through mud, through jungles, through the desert, and
Absolutely.
you just keep on finding ways to not only survive them, but come out the other side better. And I think it's a business quote. I don't remember who it was, but like, great things are never done by one person; they're done by a team of
Yep.
people. Might have been Steve Jobs, might have been someone like that said that. But that's where you guys are, and you continue to push through that. So with that, like, what is the team focused on now? Like, where is the future for you guys? What's pushing you to the next?
Oh, I wish we could leak.
We're all here for that.
No, we are going to have another podcast where y'all are like, you should have leaked this sooner, prom. We, I don't want to curse it. But we, and I won't say any names, but we are looking to, we're looking to merge with
Okay.
with a very respectable org and grow what we're doing and continue. And these guys they are legends in what they do and who they are. And the community looked nuts. Our head mod, he's like, "Yo, let's go!" Like, I've kept it quiet. Like, we've been behind the scenes trying to, and we hope it works. And you know what? If it doesn't work, that's great, because these are family members. Like, we're gonna do so much work with them in the future, but everything looks like it's right. It looks like it's supposed to happen. And if this does happen, then we just not only doubled in size, but we doubled in respect. We doubled in the hands that are going to be able to keep pushing and help. We're going to double in PCs. We're going to double in a lot of different things to where we can get more people paid, more people on staff, and it's unbelievable. Our community deserves it. The hell with me. I'm a normal dude that's done a lot of bad in my life, and I've also done some good. So the glory and praise doesn't go to me. It goes to the community, because the community built Deleted, not me. I put the foundation there, and they sculpted it, and they built it. And every single thing that is happening right now, I cannot thank each and every one of these community members enough, because it's just so beautiful to watch. I really, really, really wish that I could just loan my eyes to the public just for one day. For one day, it would literally change all the toxic behaviors that are out there, or the most, for the most part. And I'm just very proud of where we are in the foundation that we've built, and we are going to continue to keep doing that with the people that we have on our sides. But dude, there's a million things I could say, but we're about to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just wanted to quickly add, like, of course, some like short-term goals. Again, we have a team that made top 16 again. Only 11 teams made both. Hopefully, we make the third. And with good runs, and I know NA reduced it from 5 teams to 4.
Yep.
But like, we eventually want to reach a major. We eventually want to be able to like take
Will
all of our
reach a major. We will.
win a major.
You speak it into existence.
We will.
I
They
think
keep
you've
doing
noticed
it
now that
though.
our-
That's
Yeah.
their whole mantra here. They
And
keep
it
talking
really
about
is.
it, and they keep going for it. They're not just
Yeah,
talking.
we're super
Great.
optimistic, super happy-go-lucky. We just go and do it, and it's been working so far. Of course, we've made mistakes along the way. No one's perfect, but we learn from them when we move on, and we take all of the advice that we can get. And again, like, we have been blessed that we chose an esport that happened to be so amazing and tight knit. And there's like so many things we could study that haven't even been directly told to us. Like, of course, there are other podcasts that like many of our board members listen to religiously, like Johnny Boy and his channel, as well as him, Rizzo, and CJ for Chalkcast.
Mhm.
Dazarin, T-Bates, Roldiz, and Roldiz was also instrumental early on for us. Huge shout out Roldiz for First Touch. Like, there's just so much information out there. There's so much transparency for orgs to succeed and for players to succeed. Like, we just and I don't know about any other esports. Like, I only like and play Rocket League. I probably have like 10 total hours in FPS games in my entire life. Like, car soccer is it. And we're heavily invested into Rocket League. Like you asked, will Deleted XD branch out into other esports? Probably not. I think we're and no promises. I don't know. Me
I think
personally,
Prime
like,
might feel a little different.
Oh,
maybe.
bro, I'm already looking for Valorant teams and COD teams. And
I mean, I can't help with that. I'm the Rocket
Icy
League
is just gonna
encyclopedia.
run the Rocket League department.
The
Absolutely.
division.
Yeah, no, and just to like add a little bit of that, what's really cool, and this is probably my favorite part about Deleted, you can just name 10 of some of the top names that you might know, org owners, anything like that in Rocket League. And if you watch our general chat for a week, the amount of different people, like we'll have 5 different org owners in there playing in our general chat with all of us. Like while
There
their
you go.
orgs like having main events. And it's just so cool because all that tells me is like this environment that we've worked so hard to protect, it works. And it's so much fun. And do not get me wrong, I'm not a saint. I talk mad shit, just joking around though to my community. Like I'll call them ass, whatever. They'll talk shit back to me. Excuse my language, but
You're good.
the point of it is like we do it in love, and we do it and we have fun. And when shit stuff gets serious, we're there, and that's the best part about it. And like seeing the different groups come together, like it's so awesome when we're in tournaments and we're playing. And my secondary account for streams, for team streams, is in there, and like some of the players are like, "Hey, what's up, Prime? What's up, Prime?" And like these are like top 16 teams. What's up, Prime? Shout out Prime, Goat Prime. And I'm just like, dude, the amount of love that I get from that. And Icy, exactly like every time the deleted account's on T. Carell's stream, he's like, what's up, Icy? I'm like, it's Prime. He was like, well, I knew it was one of y'all.
It was one of you guys.
Yeah, so it's like networking. You asked the question in the beginning, and the one thing that I've always been good at in my whole entire life is networking because they're honest connections. I don't have to fluff things and I don't have to bullshit people to get to where I go. I'm very honest. Sometimes it's too brutal. I don't know how to beat around the bush and work in the gray area, and I think people respect that. And what I've found is like if you're just honest with somebody, if you pay on time, if you do what you say you're going to do, if you make mistakes but you always make up for them and you with good intentions, if you truly learn from something and you use these mistakes as tools to pave your foundation moving forward, then it's noticed. And then like when all that drama unfolded, like I thought Claverity hated us. Like I thought there was some secret grudge there, because we were supposed to do work together a long time ago and it just didn't work out. And all of a sudden I see um Castle just going in on people about like trying to crucify us for no reason. And he actually lost some content creators for taking up for us in that situation. But at that time, at that point, it literally made me realize like how much support and the support structure that we have surrounding us, and we always give back to that. Like there is not one org that we have ever been affiliated with that right now if they called us and said, hey, we need to put something together and we know you got to work tomorrow, but can you please come help us? It's going to take all night. We're there. I'll miss work tomorrow if I got to. And I think that relationship right there is one that you can't fake, and people know that. And it's not what you know, it's who you know. And all these relationships that's developed over time and time and time and time and time. Back to that email I was telling y'all about with all the higher ups in it, like Icy's message was so heartfelt, and then they did their research and they figured out like, yo, they're trying to get blasted for something that was a year ago. They already fixed this, so we're going to make it right by them. And then we get a follow-up message about like, thank you for your support and who you are and stuff like that. Dude, when when Psyonix and Epic and who are they shipped? No, not shipped. Blast.
Blast.
Yeah.
When all of these guys are in an email with you and they say stuff like that, it's at that point where you realize like we're not a small org anymore. We're not. We may be small to the public eye, but like we're big in hearts, we're big in like minds, we're big in respect. And I'd rather be big in respect and I'd rather be big in love than I would to be big in numbers all day, every day. You can have your 40 grand salary. That's perfectly fine. I will keep my $10,000 to $20,000 salary and be perfectly happy with what we have going on. And I think that defines us and lays the foundation of who Deleted is.
I think that puts a good cherry on top for the discussion that we've had. And you guys have definitely, I think, shown anybody that has listened to this and will listen to it of what you guys are about, what your goal is, where you, your vision, and it's definitely a more wholesome one than we have heard in recent past when it comes to Rocket League. So big kudos to you guys. Thank you for coming on and chatting. Where can people find you at socials? What, just throw it all out there for them.
Go ahead,
I
Icy.
think the most important one at Deleted XD Gaming on Twitch and Twitter. Come follow us. Our tweets are still ass. We're working on it, but no, jokes aside though, huge shout out to our social media guys.
Trevor.
Yeah, shout out Trev. Of course, Prime Prime _DXD on Twitch. Whenever he streams, it's a good time. I'm not a streamer. I'm not even a social media guy. Like, don't follow me on Twitter. I just repost stuff and comment. So like, yeah, deleted XD Gaming. Like, that's where we are. And from our Twitter, you can find our website where you could see like our decals and stuff for Bacchus mod. You could join our server and have a good time. See me in chat. Come say hi. 1v1 me. I love 1v1s. Shout out
Awesome.
Johnny Boy.
Bucket, you got anything before we go? I know you've been jotting down notes like crazy.
I do. It helps me later when I'm writing all the descriptions and trying to keep up. And this was a big one. I'm going to need the full transcript here to get through all the cool things that we've heard. But I said this a couple times. I'll just echo it again. It's a beautiful thing you guys have got going on. I had no idea that it ran that deep, that there was this lifeblood that you guys are pumping into your community that really drives what's going on. And I mean, this is something refreshing and beautiful, and something that I will take away from this is that there are people out there that are trying to make things better and push forward this community, because it's been a lot of negativity. A lot of things have been more, how can we change things? Things are not right. And you guys are doing the opposite and spreading the love and the positivity. And that's, man, super refreshing. I can't say enough about that. And I hope a lot of people take away from this. And that's what I'm going to push for this conversation, because I want people to hear what you guys got going on, because they're going to remember your name at some point. And I think that's what I'm taking away from this. You aren't here for today. You're here for the long haul.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Yes, sir.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
We'd love to be back. Like, this is my first podcast. Like, thank you guys. Like, eventually, like, if we do get big, like,
the rest won't be very good.
Who knows?
No, I'm just
We will definitely love to have you guys back. We appreciate you guys coming on.
It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you again, you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Good morning whenever you listen to this, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Absolutely.
Whew. And done.
It was a hell of a podcast, man. I looked down and saw
We are
an hour.
so sorry. Holy. Like,